and I'm start recording. Right. Okay. Hope I am clear at your side, right? So yeah, yes, I got the confirmation. Thank you. So let's proceed. All right. So we've done. We are done with the first lesson, and we went to the second lesson as well about the fundamentals, right? So on the fundamentals, we talk about what are the characteristics of a computer, like what it should have to consider as a quality device, right? And we talk about the classifications, like we talk about that computer is classified in two different methods, which is according to the physical size, and according to the technology, right? So like according to the physical size, yes, we talk about the supercomputers, like they are massive in size, and they are using for specific tasks, like large scale businesses, military purposes, right? So some operations which doing regarding the space, right? Like the institute like NASA, right? So those kind of things. And mainframes, we talk about like it is smaller than the supercomputer and not much powerful than the supercomputer, but comparatively it is having very big performance comparatively other computers that we are using here day to day, right? Still mainframe, even though it is less powerful than the supercomputer, it can do numerous things, like a lot of e-commerce websites like this eBay, right? Amazon, Alibaba, right? These things, these people are using the mainframes to maintain their large number of transactions and all these things, right? And we talk about then the mini computers as well. So like mini computers, we were saying like it is there to handle few number of computers. Still, it is powerful than the computers that we are using, like the personal computer. Like comparing to a personal computer, it is still powerful and have the ability to maintain some of the like quite number of devices, like banks and all these things. They are using these mini computers, right? So they maintain the huge workload that they are receiving during a day, and which makes their work easy with these things, right? And the mini computers are the computers that we are using. Like personal computer is a type of I'm sorry, not the mini, microcomputer, right? So the personal computer is the type of microcomputer, so which we are using for our day-to-day scenarios, and it is smaller in size, and comparatively it's less speedy, comparing to the supercomputers, mainframes, and the what we call the mini computers, right? But still, these things are come in handy when it comes to the personal matters, right? So for the personal requirements, like if we need to do day-to-day things, right? We need a microcomputer, right? So then after we talk about the classifications according to the technology, right? So the analog computers are there, digital computers are there, and the hybrids are there, right? I think I didn't had a time to show you the picture about this hybrid and all these things, right? Let me show you some, right? So I'll take the reference from A-level lesson, which we are going to learn. So as you can see, like if you do the A-levels, still you got some things common with you, right? Okay, people, This is an analog computer, right? Based on the analog computer, so it is just receiving the things from the sensor, like radars, like geographical sensing points, right? So like කොතන කියන්නේ අපි කොතනද ඉන්නේ කියන එක දැන් අපි GPS system එකක යනකොට it is like digital computing is involved. Actually that is going to be a hybrid type. But අපි හිතන්නකෝ කාලගුණ විද්‍යා දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ weather department එකට ගියාම, so it is a physical computer that may analog computer that they are using, like they measure the speed of the wind and the rainfall and all these things. It is due to analog computing, right? So the digital computer, yes, of course, we know what it is, right? It is the computer that we are talking about. And when it comes to the hybrid computer, right? Actually, hybrid is not right over here now. In the A level, we're talking about it's using that general purpose computer and the special. Excuse me, baby. Right. So people, when it comes to the hybrid computers, so the thing that you are seeing is a hybrid one now. This is used for some scanning purposes, like of the patients. So when you are scanning it, the doctor will hold some device which either it is working with the electromagnetic waves or maybe using the sound waves, right? All these things, like the machines that you have learned in the first unit, right? MRI machines, right? With EEGs and all these things. So those are working as hybrid computers, like taking the analog signals like sound or like the heartbeat. Again, it's going to give you the sound or the light or those kind of things. Then convert that into a digital image or digital output, right? So those are called the hybrid type of computer. So for the record, people who are missed last time, so this is a supercomputer, right? And we saw some videos as well, and this is a mainframe, right? And this is a mini computer, like which is used for several different purposes, and you know about the micros, right? Okay, so today we are going to go from that point onwards, right? So the classification, can anyone confirm that whether we write down the hybrid computer part as well? Just confirm me whether we are done with the hybrid computers. And people, are there still who have not received your textbook? Dinaka, we haven't tried the hybrid part. Okay. Did we go through the analog computer and the digital computer?
We write it.
We wrote it, right? Analog and digital. And how about the hybrid?
Also hybrid computer.
We did the hybrid as well. Not the hybrid, I guess. Okay, so I think we haven't go through the hybrid. So yeah, people, so have the subheading hybrid computers, right? Now, hybrid computer, as I told you, the very yeah, Udamya, let's write about it. So the very like very closer example, one of the closer example are ECG machines in the hospital. So sensors are plugged into the patient's chest. So those sensors will monitor the loved up sound which is given from the heart, and according to that the screen will be having a graph which illustrate what is the rhythm of the heartbeat, right? So Lambda is a sound, which is an analog signal. What you are seeing in the screen is digital. So we call it an hybrid computer, right? Okay, so Dolaputala, we can write hybrid computers as the heading, right? Yeah, let's see what we are going to copy to your book. Yeah, it's better you write it from this point to here. So later I'll give you some small point to figure out the next slide. So whatever I am highlighted on the screen, just copy it down. Right, so one is done. How about the others? Okay, I'll give you some time. Right, Sandhu. It's only the highlighted part, people. Okay, shall we move?
Okay, sir.
Right. Right now in your book, just after this thing, you can write it like this. So as the second point, you just say it like this, like heartbeat is analog and output from the monitor is digital. So both of them are called hybrid, right? So you can take it as the next point. Right, done, people. Right. Okay, so shall we move? All right. So heartbeat is
Continue,
analog,
sir.
output from the monitor is digital, right? So together they are going to perform hybrid. Okay, so then after we are going to talk about function of a computer system. Now, this diagram, we call this diagram a very nice name. We call this the von Neumann architecture, right? So why we are calling this the von Neumann architecture? It is because there was a person who called von Neumann who has introduced this particular architecture for the very first time, right? So this particular diagram. Now I'll explain this to you. Then later we'll write the things like the most important stuff on our book, right? So von Neumann architecture, or this functioning of a computer system happens like this, right? So if we take the same diagram, we can explain it like this. Now I'll go with the way that they have written now. Yes, so they have CPU and okay. All right. So we have this input devices, right? The input devices which help us to input the data, right? So input devices means what? So you know what are those, like we can use mouse to give clicks, so it's going to be an input, and we can use mouse to point things, it is an input, right? So we use keyboard to type or like insert a character, so it is kind of an input, right? So these kind of input devices are there when they are inputting things, right? So these things are directly goes to these data data yes. Now this data are straight away going to the something called main memory, right? Main memory. Have you heard the word RAM? RAM එක කියන වචනේ අහලා තියෙනව නේද? So
Yes,
main
sir.
memory, we call RAM as the main memory, but there are many main memories as well. So we call it RAM එක තමයි අපි specifically අරගන්නේ, right? So when it arrives at the RAM, what RAM is doing, he's giving these things into the central processing unit. Now, what is the central processing unit? Now, central processing unit,
CPU.
yeah, that is the brain of the computer, right? So inside that, it got something called register memory. We call it registers as well, right? So this is the memory unit that stays inside the CPU. So when the instructions comes into the, when data is comes into the main memory, it is given to the registers. And registers will give those things to a component called ALU. ALU. And ALU stands for arithmetic and logic unit. That's correct. Yes, arithmetic and logic unit. So this is the unit which actually do the execution of things. ඇත්තටම ක්‍රියා කරන්නේ මෙයා තමයි. රෙජිස්ටර් එක මතක තියාගෙන ඉන්න පොඩි වෙනකට. So යටක් ගාලා ALU එකට දෙනවා. So ALU will can do the things. If it is mathematical thing, they will solve it as a mathematical task. If it is a logical thing, ALU will solve it as a logical task. Then later, once the ALU is done with the execution, it again gives that to the registers. Then registers will send that to the main memory again, right? So when it receives at the main memory, if the user save that, right now, when it is received at the main memory, the first thing that generally happens is most of the things we can see it on our monitor. මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා නේද? අපි A කියලා keyboard එකකින් key එක press කරොත් අපිට A type වෙනවා. පේනව නැත්නම් A වලට අදාළ command එක. game එකක් නම් ගහන්න game එකේ tool එක මාරු වෙනවා. නේද? A කියපුවම නේද? අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාට ඔය ASD කියන ටිකනේ අපි AWSD කියන හතර දෙනා තමයි keyboard එකේ මැකෙන්නේ නේද? games ගහලා ඉස්සරහට ගිහලා පිටිපස්සට ගිහලා වමට ගිහලා දකුණට ගිහලා. Right? Other things are arrow keys. Right, so it gives the response or the output regarding the input that we have done. So main memory majorly do two things, like when the data received at the main memory, it can produce you two things. It can directly send those things, send those data into the main into the output devices, right? So output devices තපරයක් ඉන්න දුරට දාලා whiteboard එක පොඩ්ඩක් stuck වුණා වගේ වුණා. It can there's something wrong with my pen. There it goes. Yeah, battery back in again. Okay. So this send directly to the output devices. So output devices, there are many. The main output device is the monitor. Monitor ke tamai apita okkoma dewal penne. Tamai major output device එක. Like other than that, there are several different output devices. Like if you need to hear something from your computer, you use speakers. It's the output device which output the sound, right? If you need to take a hard copy of a soft copy, we use a printer. So it is again an output device. So likewise, when the data arrives at the main memory, we can have an output, or else we can send it. We can send this data to the secondary storage. What do you mean by secondary storage? Have you heard the term hard disk? So hard disk is the major secondary storage, right? අපි save කරාම දේවල් නැත්නම් අපි දෙයක් install කරාම it's goes into the hard disk or the secondary storage. There are many secondary storage. The primary secondary storage that we are having is the hard disk drive, HDD එක කියලා අපි හඳුනනවා, right? It's the hard disk drive. And also that you can take data from the input devices, you can take the data from the storage devices as well. මෙයාගෙනුත් data ගන්න පුළුවන්. So that data will move to the registers, and then it will be executed inside the ALU, right? Now this is the general thing that happens inside the computer, but there is a special thing happen inside this, like these components, the secondary storage, main memory, input device, output devices, even these registers and ALU will not work just by themselves, right? Even though they have the power, like if even though the electricity is produced, they are not tend to work. ඒගොල්ලන්ට එක්කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා වැඩ කරන්න කියලා නිතරම සිග්නල් කරලා. Right? So that component is inside the CPU. We call it the CU, control unit. Right? Control unit. Now this control unit, what it does is it sends in the control signals. Right? It sends the control signals to each and every component. To each and every component of a computer system. Right? So it sends the control signal to main memory. It sends the control signal to the output devices, as well as it sends the control signals to the storage devices as well. So yes, Behara. So this control signal, which is given by the CU, are the command which is sent by the processor, or in other words, control unit. මේක හරියට නේද මේ control unit එක කියලා කියන්නේ හරියට අපේ ගෙදර අම්මා වගේ. Right? She's the one who commanding us, right? You do this and you do that, and don't keep these things in this place, do it properly, right? Do that properly. It's our lovely mother who is saying that, right? I remember how my mother has directed me to do things in a proper manner. So I still carry in that vibe inside me. When I'm doing things, I have to, I'm trying my best to do it in the way she taught me. So control unit is something like that, right? It always sends a signal to perform. And these registers, they just what? It just holds the data. Now, comparing to main memory, register is a small memory, right? Now, like main memory can have a lot of things inside it, but registers, it is the smallest memory unit in the computer. Like we say, it's hold one instruction at a time, but it is very speed to provide the data that it takes to the ALU, and ALU is fast enough to execute it as soon as possible and give it back to the registers. So when register receives something from the ALU, which is the execution part of the CPU, arithmetic and logic unit, do the execution. It executes things in the arithmetical manner or in the logical manner, and then it gives to the registers. So registers will quickly give it back to the main memory, because registers don't have much room to keep things inside it for a long time. එතකොට main memory එකේට program එකක් එනවා කියලා කියන්නේ it's a very big program with big amount of instructions and data. So main memory is doing what? Throwing the things one by one to the registers. So register catch it, give it to the ALU, executes it, take it back, and send it back to the main memory. Right? So that is why we call CPU is the fastest place which is doing the execution. Right? So it always executes using the ALU. Right? Arithmetic and logic unit. All right, people, this is the story of this thing, right? And your book got the same picture, right? And it shows how control unit sends the signals to the secondary memory and all these things, right? So yeah, it's better you draw that, right? Then books නැති කට්ටිය ඉන්නව නේද තාම? Let me know who does not have the books yet. Behara, is it clear to you about the registers and ALU? Right, great. So is there anyone who is still who does not have the books? Everyone got it? Ah, great. All right, great. So we can do it in a little fast forward manner now. Right. So people, yeah. So I want you, then I want you to keep space to draw this, right? So put the heading functions of a computer system and keep some space. You do it in a very clear and nice manner, right? Right. But anyway, you have to have this on your books, right? Then අද පෙබරවාරි 20නේ යා මාර්තු 1 වෙනිදාට මම ආයි පොත් ටික බලනවා ආයෙත් ගෙන්න ගන්නවා අර එදා යවපු තැන ඉඳලා ඉස්සරහට කරපු දේවල් ටික ෆොටෝස් ගෙන්න ගන්න ඕනේ so prepare your books right and ඒ කියන්නේ අමුතුවෙන් prepare කරන දෙයක් නෑ නේද ඩාට දෙන වැඩි ලස්සනට කරලා තියාගන්න that's all okay it's better like ඔයගොල්ලෝ පොඩි පොතක් නම් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ just leave a page එක පැත්තක් ඉඩ තියන්න මෙයාව ලස්සනට ලොකුවට අඳින්න if you are doing it on a CR book so half of a page will be enough and let's write down the points then right since you got the books now it is easy to continue right okay so functions of a computer then you leave the space for the diagram right and the first point as the first point hold on yeah now yeah let's write it in a point form right make me ඡේදය තමයි මට ලියා ගන්න ඕනේ but we'll write it in a point form right okay so everyone yeah write this thing data and instruction fed to the computer via input devices so අන්තිමට S අකුරක් දාගන්න that's going to be your first point data and instructions fed to the computer via input devices via input devices. So the second point, input data will be goes to the primary memory first, goes to the primary memory, goes to the primary memory, then goes to the primary memory, then. Yeah, it's going to be like this. What I have highlighted for you, it's going to be the first point, data and instruction fed to the computer via input devices. It's in plural term. Second term, input data will be sent or will go to the primary memory. Then after, it's better you say then after, not just then. Input data will go to the primary memory then after. Third point, primary memory will primary memory will send the data, primary memory will send the data primary memory will send the data, put a comma, instruction by instruction, instruction by instruction, instruction by instruction, instruction by instruction, to the memory registers, to the memory registers. Sometimes we refer it as registers 2, to the memory registers, to the memory registers in the CPU, in the CPU, in the CPU, in the CPU, next point, register will send the data, register will send the instruction, register will send the instruction to the ALU, to the ALU, to the ALU within brackets, arithmetic and logic unit. Yeah, Ravindu, we have gone through some stuff. Hold on, I'll tell you what to be written. එහෙම නැත්නම් පුතා recording එක චුට්ටක් බලලා මුල ටික ලියා ගන්න. Right? අපි මේ පින්තූරය ඇඳ ගන්න ඉඩ තියාගත්තා. You got the book with you, right, Ravindu?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we had this function of a computer system at the heading. Then we leave space to draw this diagram. Then we were writing some points over here. So it's better you refer the video or the recording to capture the things. අපි දැන් මේ තුන්වෙනි හරි හතරවෙනි හරි failure දැන් මේ යන්නේ. Right, so what I was telling, the registers will give the instruction to the ALU within brackets, arithmetic and logic unit, arithmetic and logic unit. Arithmetic and logic unit, close the bracket. Next point, ALU will execute the instruction, executes the instruction execute the instruction and send the result back to registers. Execute the instruction and send the result back to registers. Back to registers. The next point, then registers will send data, send that result. Then registers will send that result to the main memory, full stop. Last point, then main memory can send the data to the secondary storage, for storing purposes, as well as to output devices, Right? Got it? Yeah, everyone, is that clear? Can I have the confirmation? Right, great. So now onwards, we are going to see what are the... Yes, Uda. As well as to the output devices. Right. So now onwards, we are going to see...
Yes,
Right, okay. What are the components that this computer system is related with? So first, it is the input devices. Now, you know what are the input devices, as I told you, like, since you are dealing with the computer. Right, just see, did you know all of these input devices that the book is going to talk about, right? So first one, the major input device is the keyboard that they are introducing. So actually, it's nothing to introduce. We know what it is. And the keyboard is having like started from 101 keys to 108, sometimes more than that when the media controllers also happens there. So like basically this used to give input characters and to control some of the devices which is connected to the computer, right? So that is how the keyboard happens. And in keyboard, there are some categories of keys where we have to understand. So like like you know these tabs. Only thing that you may not know about the name or the category of it, right? So the one with the green colors, we call it the special keys. Now special keys, the shift key is going to be a special key, caps lock is going to be a special key, tab key is going to be a special key, as well as the what you call the print screen, scroll up, scroll down. Those can be taken as special keys. And type in keys, of course, we know it's from A to Z, keys from A to Z, and as well as the other exclamation marks and all these things, right? And the function keys, there is something called function keys, which are starting from F values. Then Ogolo computer just get to see the very top row of the keyboard. It is the function keys, like it is starting from F1 and it continues until F12, right? So let me show you some modern keyboards. We've got some things here. Yeah, look at this. So you may have seen the traditional keyboard, but here this is for the gamers, the one which is in the left hand side, just below the normal keyboard, right? So it's to ace up your hand with the keyboard, right? මොකද කෙලින් තියාගෙන ටයිප් කරනකොට ටිකක් හරි අමාරුයි ටයිප් කරගන්න, right? අපේ අත් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ පොඩි angle එකකට. So angle එකට තිබ්බම අපේ අත් natural state එකෙන් තියාගෙන so we can type. It will reduce the harm that caused to the arms by by typing with these things, right? And the right hand side, I have shown you the circuit, and actually it is a laptop keyboard, and it is being connected with its circuits, and this laptop keyboard is going to come on the top of the circuit, right? Then only it will be able to recognize what it is, or like what the character is. And at the latter part, we just introduce you a very old keyboards, right? So like the top one does not have arrow keys, neither. Enter key එක තියෙනවා, backspace එක තියෙනවා. So like they didn't have those arrow keys. So these are the categories I was talking about: the function keys, special keys, right? Numeric keys, normal keys, or the character keys, right? Those things will be there. Right, now this is about the pointing devices. Now, even though we very much use into mouse and keyboard, mouse is the best pointing, not the best, the frequently used pointing device is the mouse, right? Now, other than the mouse, when it comes to the laptops, you can find a touchpad, right? And when it comes to the touch screens, it's the screen which works as the input device, or the touch panel. And when it comes to the gaming and all these fun kind of stuffs, we are using the remote controls, right? So it's just we are connecting it with the Bluetooth or infrared. So we just like having it in a pointed manner, right? මේ කට්ටියම යමක් point කරගන්න පාවිච්චි කරන නිසා තමයි we call it the pointing devices, right? And yeah, so in your book, let's say what to be written, we really don't need to draw down the stuff, but it's better you write the categories. So yeah, it's better you have the heading basic physical components of a computer system. Right, so basic physical component of computer system. So then you put input devices, the subheading. Under that, Yeah, this particular line, it's better you write. Data and instruction are fed to the computer system using input devices. Yeah, that line is enough. Input devices. Right. So as the first Roman number, or like whatever the way you are going to do that, right? So keyboard is the first device. And regarding that, yeah, so it's better you write it from here to here. Done? People? Yes, everyone. Yeah, people, and it's better you write down this stuff as well. Like how many keys are there, what are the two types. Then I will tell you what to be written. So when you are done, just let me know, indicate, right? Everyone, are you okay? Like, are we done over here? Yes, okay. So then, it's better you say as the next point, categories of the keys. Categories of the keys in the keyboard are as follows. Categories of the keys in the keyboard, categories of the keys in the keyboard are as follows. Are as follows. Then you don't need to write down the, like you need to draw the diagram, but just write down the categories: special keys, typing keys, function keys, numeric keys, and control keys. Okay, is it done? People, are we done? Oh yeah, someone is done. Yes. Okay, so shall we move forward? Yeah. So now after today's lesson, you have to go and search right. So once we done this lesson, you have to go and search for the things on your keyboard, right? Right? Most probably those will be there, but it's better you know, right? Then MCQ එකක් දුන්නොත් like by drawing this structure and if you are asked to name it, so you should have the idea. What are the function keys? What are the typing keys? What are the special keys, right? And all these things, right? Okay, so hereafter we are going to go for the pointing devices. Like I show you some pointing devices from with the pictures that I was talking about. So the reason why this is said as the pointing devices, because we use these devices to point things. The point කරන්න, right? පෙන්වන්න තමයි අපි මේක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ, right? So the major pointing device is the mouse. And mouse, actually, you know what's there in the mouse. Like in a very basic mouse, you can find 3 buttons, which is the left button, right button, and the mouse wheel, right? So like left button is there to do 2 types of clicks, right? When you click 1 time, it is called single click. When you click double times, it called double click. And for some specific softwares, they introduce a triple click as well. Right now, when we are doing the word processing software, I'll show you how triple click works, right? So it is software specific, right? And from the right mouse button, we are just doing one type of clicking, which is the right click. Then මේ සමහර දුවල පුතාලා like ඔගොල්ලෝ පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙනවා left එකෙන් නිතරම double click ම කරන්න, right? So remember, like we only do the double click when we need to open something or execute something, right? Not in every scenario, right? If you want to select something or if you are clicking on a link in the web page, in a web page, you are just going to give the one single click, right? And mouse wheel is there for what? To do the scrolling part, right? So scrolling means what? This is the scrolling, right? This is what you call scrolling. So scroll up and scroll down, right? And apart from that, the laptops and the notebooks, they have this touchpad, right? So we can use our finger on the touchpad and we can move the mouse pointer. And some of the touchpads are giving separate buttons as left and right. Some are not indicating it clearly. සමහර වෙලාවට touchpad එක තියෙනවා just a square, right? So අපි මෙන්න මේ area එක touch කරාම it's going to give us a left click. දෙසරයක් touch කරාම it's going to give us a double click. And may area එක අපි press කරාම it's going to give you the right click, right? And with the touchpad, we have some other gestures as well. Gestures means like එක ඇඟිල්ලකින් mouse pad එකේ ඇඟිල්ල එහෙම මෙහෙ ගෙනියනකොට it's the mouse that is going to move. or ඇඟිලි දෙකකින් එහෙම මෙහෙ ගෙනියනකොට it helps to the scroll. මොකද එයාට mouse wheel එකක් නැහැනේ, right? or ඇඟිලි තුනක් කරාම it gives you something else. ඒක නම් පොඩක් machine එකට specific වෙනවා. මගේ laptop එකේ ඇඟිලි තුනකින් මට පුළුවන් minimize කරන්නයි maximize කරන්න. ඇඟිලි හතරක් පාවිච්චි කරාම අර window type එකට, ඒ කියන්නේ එක එක දැනට open කරලා තියෙන windows ඔක්කොම view කරගන්න පුළුවන්, right? It is machine specific. But that 1 point and 2 point things, එක ඇඟිල්ලකින් ඇඟිලි දෙකකින් කරන වැඩේ, it is common, right? Okay, so that is about the touchpad. And the most famous thing is now it's a touch screen, right? So for mobiles, for tablets, and for touch screen computers, right? The mama පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ touch screen computer එකක්, touch screen එකක් තියෙන laptop එක. So මම මේ මෙහෙ කරනකොට මම ඒ වැඩේ කරන්නේ ඇඟිල්ලෙන් select කරනකොට, like I'm doing it on a smartphone or a smart device. I'm doing it in the very same way, right? මම ලියනකොට මගේ pen එක මම පාවිච්චි කරනවා to write, right? So touch screen is going to be the input device. And remember, now touch screen, when you are touching it, we consider it as an input device. But when you are looking something from it, or movie එකක් බලනවා නම් touch screen become an output device, right? So it is acting as both input and output, right? එහෙම වැඩ කරන devices කීපයක්ම තියෙනවා computer එකත් එක්ක connect කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? Both input and output devices, right? And joystick, I think I don't need to introduce this thing to you, especially for the boys. Neither you people know what this is, right? And I think you have not worked with that the joystick that is showing you at the right side, right? ඒක අපිට සමහර වෙලාවට මේ ඔය computer එක embed කරලා හදලා තියෙන gaming platforms වල පාවිච්චි කරන්න දෙනවා, right? So that is what you call the joystick. ඒකට joystick කියන්නේ හේතුවම it used for gaming. So gaming give us joy, so that's the stick that gives us the joy, right? So buttons and controls, and there are things for the firing, things for the turning, bumping, and all these things are there, right? So it is a joystick. Now all these things are considered as the input devices, right? So if button එකක් press කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ it's the input. So the other one is the light pen, right? So light pen helps you to do the computer aided designing. So now in my screen, I'm not it's not a light pen that I am using. This is a touch sensitive pen, right? Or we call this a stylus, right? So with this I can do the drawings if I want, right? Like I do it on a pen, right? එතකොට මගේ screen එකේම මට ඇඳලා පෙන්නනවා how the things are going to be, right? right? And yes, Udamya, joysticks are used to control the drone cameras now, right? Like the not drone cameras, maybe like entire drone. So once the drone is airborne, we can control it, right? Then control අපිට phone එකෙන් පවා control කරන්න there are several apps which is integrated. So and again you can have the joystick to control that as well, right? So those are the pointing devices that we have to need to get to know. And these imaging devices, the imaging and the video input devices, now these are working as both input and output devices, right? Especially when it comes to the digital camera, because you can capture it from the lens, so it will work as an input, and you can see it from the screen, so it is working as an output, right? So you can have that experience and the facility from the digital camera, as well as webcam. Now, you know, webcam is very famous nowadays because due to this video conferencing tools, right? So webcam is a cam which comes as an inbuilt function of a lot of laptops now. If you take a laptop nowadays, it's always there. If you take a mobile phone, the front cam is acting as the webcam, right? And we can have the separate webcams as well. So like when we need to use it, like when we need to have a video conference via a desktop, desktops does not come in with an inbuilt webcam. Inbuilt කියලා කියන්නේ එයාගේ ඇතුළේම හදලා එන කියන එක. So we have to purchase a separate one, right? So in most of the cases, webcams are working with the USB connection. So once we plug into the USB, so it is working. You don't need to connect it to the power source separately. When current just using the current which is arriving through the USB cable. And CCTV, closed circuit televisions, it is something big in scale. When you need to monitor a very big space or like a very big geographical area, we use a CCTV. So majorly it is for the security purposes. And again, it's going to be an input device. Scanners. Now, I think you know about the scanners, and we call us, there are several types of scanners like 3D scanners, flatbed scanners. Now this is flatbed scan. So flatbed scanner is used to do what? We can convert a hard copy into a soft copy using a scanner, right? So that is what you call scanning, right? You like the picture shows, if you take a book and scan it through the scanner, so you can have the same picture into your computer. So later you can crop and modify and do all these things, right? So it is the way we are going to input and still image into a computer. Still image. The moving image එකක් තමයි අපි movies කියලා කියන්නේ. Right? So still image එකක් input කරන්න තමයි අපි scan එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. Right? And there are several different scanners like barcode reader. It's another scanner which is supporting to scan a barcode. So it's a specific one. When you are visiting to the supermarket, you can see the barcode scanners, right? So this the counter people who is billing the things for us. So they just take the good and they present in the barcode to the barcode reader or the barcode scanner. So it will scan the barcode, and it is specific. It only can read the barcodes, not that it can scan the images, right? So it is a specific purposes. And have you ever heard about this magnetic ink character reader, right? Now this magnetic ink character reader is there to scan a special ink, a magnetic mix with ink. We call it a magnetic ink. Now, if you have seen a check leaf, the check so like at the very bottom part of the check, right? Now, if check leaf is like this, where you are given the place to write the date and a place to write the amount and place to write the amount in words, right? And it has some things like cash and the things, right? And at the bottom part, they have this cryptic type of letters. And there is a notice on the check leaf by saying, please do not write anything on this area. Please do not write anything below this line. So it is because MICR, this particular what you call the reader or the scanner, is there to read that this magnetic ink characters. We call it the magnetic ink characters. Okay, my pen is not functioning. Just a second, people. Yeah. So these are the magnetic ink characters. So when someone present a check to any bank, the teller who is there in the counter will scan the check through this MICR, and MICR indicates whether it is a genuine one or a fraud one. හොර එකක්ද fraud එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ අපි හොර දෙයක් කියන එක, right? So they will recognize whether it is a genuine check or a fraud one, right? Or whether it is issued by this bank or not, right? And this is a fine device which comes next, like optical character recognition, OCR. Right now, OCR, there are OCR applications as well. Adobe වලින් තියෙනවා OCR එකක්. So like once you scan a book or a page of a book from that application, from that app, so it can recognize the letters. Then you can do the edition as well. Right? හැබැයි එක picture එක හරිය clear වෙන්න ඕනේ වැඩේ කරන්න. But when it comes to the OCR, it's become handy, right? එයාට පුළුවන් මේ දැන් මේ පෙන්ලා තියෙනවා වගේ, like there are two types. You can send a page through a OCR to scan at once, or you can use this OCR pen type of a device to scan a document line by line, right? So what it does is it will scan the characters. අකුරෙන් අකුරයා ස්කෑන් කරගන්නේ. ඒතකොට දැන් අපි අර flatbed scan එකක් පාවිච්චි කරාම we don't have the ability to edit one. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ text book එකක් සිංහල නම් පොඩ්ඩක් recognize කරනවා එයා ගොඩක් අඩුයි. Like if it is a English one, if you scan your English textbook from a flatbed scanner, it is just giving you the output as a PDF document or as an image, which you cannot edit the document. But when you are do it from a OCR, you can edit that particular document, right? Or change කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? Which is very beneficial නේද? අවශ්‍ය වුණොත් අවශ්‍ය විදිහට change කරගන්න පුළුවන්. OMR, now you are going to experience this on your O levels, right? Because they are giving you a sheet to mark your MCQ, which is a sheet can be read by the OMR, optical mark recognition. So this particular machine is recognizing a mark එකක් recognize කරගන්න, right? Not a character. That is why in this the paper, the answer script that they are providing, they are saying do not mark like two numbers or like two choices in a one particular row, right? ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ වරද්දන්න නැතුව හරියටම රවුම ඇතුලේ විතරක් mark එක තියන්න කියලා, right? So OMR can read the particular paper like just by a minute or two, right? ටක් ගාලා බලලා එයා output එක දෙනවා. හැබැයි එකම line එකේ marks කීපයක් තිබුණොත් it produce an error, right? So it is very famous to read the MCQ papers through the OMR. Then regarding automated teller machine, we can consider the ATM card as an input, right? And here they have said the ATM machine reads the number of debits or credit card inserted into the machine and connect to the computer here. So like actually the card reader that they are reading over here, ඒක ඇත්තටම අර barcode reader වගේ අපි කියනවා මේ ATM machine එකේ card එක දාන්න තැන තියෙන්නේ magnetic stripe reader එකක් කියලා. Now I think you have seen the device that they are using in the supermarket. දැකලා තියෙනවද swipe card එක swipe කරන එක දැකලා තියෙනවද? ඒක card එක මෙහෙම ඇදගෙන ඉන්න එක කොනකින් තව කොනකට. So that kind of a device is there in the ATM. So අපි ඒක දැම්මම what it does is it's take it in and just read it. But nowadays they are changing the technology to the magnetic stripe reader to a chip reader. Then ඒගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට දැන් හැම බැංක් එකකම වගේ they encourage their customer to take a ATM card which has a little chip on it, right? So this particular chip contains all the data, right? So it's like even today you can use that kind of things. Like at the back of the card there is this dark stripe at the back of the card. So when you are swiping through a magnetic stripe reader, the data inside this will be read, right? Then ගෙදරදී අම්මගෙන් තාත්තගෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් නේද ATM card එක ඉල්ලගෙන බලලා දෙන්න. හොදේ තියාගන්න එපා, right? බලලා දෙන්න ඒක chip reader එකක්ද තියෙන්නේ, swipe එකක්ද තියෙන්නේ. දැන් එන ගොඩක් cards වල දැන් දෙකම තියෙනවා. It includes both the technologies. The magnetic stripe is also there as well as the chip is there, right? Chip එක තියෙන card එක තමයි අර machine එකට ඉස්සරහින් නිකන් high කරන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ ඇදගෙන එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක high කරලා they do the transaction, right? All right, so and the microphone. Now what is the input that we are giving through the microphone to the computer? Yes, people, any suggestions? What is the input that we are giving? Yes, audio. Very good, very good. Sound. Yes, Behara, it's the audio. Handak api denne, right? So now we know how to input a character. It's using a keyboard. How to input a click or a pointing using a mouse or a pointing device. How to input audio using a microphone, and we know how to input a still image through a scanner, or you can still add still images through a digital camera also. Then how you are going to input a video? Using what? What are the devices that we can use to input videos into the computer? Yes, any suggestions? We talked about those. I couldn't mention that. No, Damya, you can't. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, those are the answers that I was expecting. Yeah, someone says pen drive. Pen drive is a storage device, right? We can store things, but if you need to give a video, now how you are going to give a video when you are having a video conference? Tesandu, very good. It's a webcam. It's a camera kind of a thing that you can use to insert a video into the computer, right? So should have a lens and should have the ability to capture the video. So you can use a webcam or you can use a camcorder, right? A video recorder එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? Those kind of things, right? Okay, so people, we haven't wrote about the things that we have talked about, right? and we are not going to write much, right? And we write the input devices, the specification, and we wrote about the keyboards as well. And yeah, so regarding the pointing devices, just list down the devices, that's all, right? So so we had the subheading input devices, we wrote about the keyboard. So write pointing devices as the second point. Then as the example, just list down mouse and touch screen, joystick, light pen, just the name, right? Not the description, right? Light pen, all these things. And then the imagine and video input devices, again examples, digital camera, webcam, closed circuit TVs or CCTVs, scanners, right? Yeah, scanners is the fourth one. So the example, flatbed scanner, barcode reader, MICR, magnetic ink character reader. It's better you write the entire thing. Entire thing means sampurna nama, not the description, right? And optical character recognition and optical mark recognition. දැන් ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට කිව්වම scanner එකක් ගැන කතා කරන්න. So you should be able to memorize what are the scanners that we got, right? That's all you need to know, right? And functioning, you should remember that, right? We are not going to write those things into the book, right? Okay, so quickly finish that off, people, so we can end the session, right? So input devices, we wrote about the keyboard. Pointing devices, write down the examples. Imagine and video devices, write just the name of the examples. Scanners, same scenario, write the examples. And the microphone as the last category, right? So by next week, we are going to start the output devices, right? What are the output devices are? So once you are done, you can leave the room, right? So have a very nice weekend, and we'll meet you by next week for the same time, right? So I will be here, so you can once you are done, you can leave, right? I will be here until you all leave the room. So if you got any question, you can ask me, right? Right, Tesandu, okay.